So, due to the weather, well, you can see my face is frozen. I mean, we have good snow. You know, there's snow everywhere. You can see how much snow is on the shelter. But anyway, I do have my a subframe done, pretty much done. Yeah, and I was hoping to get it quicker done, but due to all these circumstances, you know, like we had a heavy rain first, and then we had a lot of snowfall. Now it's cold, really cold, you know, so that slows it all down. And that's why it took me so long. Now it's a month since I posted something, you know, but I got something to show. So that's a 1/4-inch wall. You know, lots to do for the grinder, but it works. That's the cut. These two, the long runs, they're 6x3, 1/4-inch wall. How it starts. Oopsie. I have all the horizontal parts are here. Basically these round pipes are the horizontal connectors. I'll show you that in a moment. And then here, those ones, the big ones, they're 4x4s. You know, they are the cross members. And I didn't plan to use those because they're just cut-offs of the long ones. You know, but I need one. So I explain in a moment why. So this is what I prepped the other day. I have done all the cutouts for the round pipes. This is the end of the frame here. So there's 1, 2, 3 cutouts for pipes. At the bottom I have some holes in there because there are some bolts sticking out of the frame, of the vehicle frame, so it can't be changed. So then there is a long section, there is no holes in it because that's where the cross members go in. And then at the front I have 3 holes again. But I realized when I dry fitted those here, put them on the frame and saw, oh my God, I can't put this first one through. Right here at the beginning is a cutout. This is the specs from Mercedes. That's how a subframe has to be made. The subframe cannot start straight as a straight cut. It has to be a V cut, you know, in here, or on a 45-degree like that. But anyway, this first hole here, and of course on the other side, and on the other one as well, I have to close it again. So I have all these discs still here. I have to find out which one fits there or make them fit, you know, and then weld them back in. Because when I dry fitted them, I saw that there is a split gearbox in the way. You know, that's where the drive shaft from the pump was attached to, from the firefighter truck. You know, there is a sub gearbox basically running a drive shaft to the pump, and that is exactly on that height. So I wasn't aware of that. I wasn't paying attention. On the other side of the frame, there is the hard line from the air pressure, you know, like in the way as well. So I have to close this one again, you know, and then go with 2 at the front. And here I marked it here somewhere already. So I will have one of my cutouts. They will go further back here and then run across inside the frame. So basically from one to the other member, you know, not a pipe like that. There will be a rectangular one, the same shape as this one. So, and then have the integrity of the frame again, or the integrity is given. You know, now let me sketch it quick, what it looks like. So basically what I have is these two long runs, right? This is the bird's eye view. We have the two long runs, and I have the holes in here, as you can imagine, on the sides, right? So when you see it in 3D kind of thing, there's the holes in here, right? Okay, so now forget all this. I run a, no, sorry, this is what I just mentioned. I don't run the first pipe, I run the second pipe through here, third basically, and then here in the back, there's 3 of them. So that stabilizes the whole frame already pretty good, right? So that stabilizes the frame pretty good, but we could, by extreme force, we could shift it this way. So basically, the frame could be shifted this way, and of course this way. And that's what we don't want. This is the reason why we're installing, or we're welding a cross member in here, a pretty massive one, as you saw. It's a 4x4, right? One like that, and then one like that. So, and that takes care of this movement. So there's no way to change the frame this way or this way, nor this way, nor this way. This is completely, the integrity is given. This is an individual frame. This is a pretty solid piece or base basically for the habitat. So what I'm talking about is basically, this is the subframe I just talked about. Has 2 holes in the front, and then what you can't see, has the notch in the front like that, and then 3 in the back, and then what you can't see is basically the cross member in there. So this is, and then this is the subframe, my subframe, and then here's the frame from the truck himself, you know, with the suspensions and the wheel in the back, let's say, and then of course here's the driving cabin, as you know. So, and this, like I said, like here in the back, we will have a tight connection that won't change. You know, that basically welded onto the subframe and bolted into the frame, because you're not allowed to weld on the original vehicle frame. And then loose connections here along the way. I'm planning on 4, but I have to find out I have enough space to place those, because it's getting really tight with the tanks and stuff like that, right? But what this allows, basically, when the truck is going down here, this frame stays up. Basically, it stays like that, right? And the truck comes back, and here these are the rods I was mentioning. They have springs on it, and they take care of the articulation of the truck, you know. So, and that guarantees basically that this habitat here, which we will have on there, you know, for example, yeah, that this will not get ripped apart. Make sense? Because this individual, this box has to stay independent. It should not move as much as the truck down below. Imagine if you would mount this box directly to the car frame, what this would do. It would immediately rip a whole thing apart, because it can't twist that much. So that's why this whole habitat has to stay stable above the articulating frame from the vehicle. I hope that makes sense. I have the first one closed now. Now I have to grind it flat. Now I have laid out the 2 long runs on top of some dunnage, and I measured across to make sure that it's all 90 degree. You know, I measured the diagonal, and it's on the 16th exact. So that is a thing I can do myself. You know, so now I basically have to double check that the floor is absolute level, which isn't. I checked it with the level, and it isn't. It is so long ways, it seems pretty level, but this way it's falling down. Thought I'd take a laser, but as usual, you probably know these type of things, you know, when you need it the most, you have no battery power. And I don't have a battery right now here. Replacement, you need 3 of those, the double A's. I don't have them right now here. So that's why I decided to dig out this old thing, like a builder's level, you know, out of the 90s. But you need two people to see through. So that's why I placed the ladder there, you know, to hold the meter stick basically. As you can see here, it's leaning against the ladder, fairly straight or plumb. So now I can measure through, and I took the first reference measurement already. You know, if you ever wondered what you see if you watch through here, I hope it works. I don't know, give me a sec. Hold still, and there you can see the meter stick. There's supposed to a cross line in it. It shows you the exact number on the millimeter, even half a millimeter. These things are pretty accurate, you know, over a long distance. So it shows me right now 1,390 millimeter. That's the measured height at that point. So now I need to move it to all three other points. So I have measured all 4 points and figure out which point is the highest one. And according to that one, I have to level the other ones, you know, raise the other ones up to the highest point wherever this one is. Now I have them all leveled. They're on the millimeter, same height. It's against the light, that's why. It shows 1,384 millimeter, and not on all 4 points. So just for example, and now here I put the level on the long run, you see, it is bang on level. If I put that now the other way, just on a random point, well, it shows a tiny bit. But that's why my dad said the devil made the level, right? It's not really an accurate tool. I mean, I trust the builder's level for sure. Any tradesman would say if the bubble is between the lines, then is it accurate? But you never know. That level could change. What are you saying? You agree with me? Hey, buddy? Yeah, you do? Okay. Oh, yeah. Ta-da! Ta-da! Okay, look at this crap. Oh, yeah. Now I moved the subframe out of the shop, which is the middle part is fully welded, except the outriggers. I will show you those in a moment. I just plasma cutted them, grinded them now, and pre-drilled them for the storage boxes which they will receive. The thing with the car jacks, I don't have a lift or a crane or anything. I moved them with the car jacks in the back of the truck, and now I just have to come up with a genius idea. How do I lift them up 4 feet from there up here? So I've got the front, you know, set onto the back of the truck. Did it with a jack and a pallet, like I said, and this one moves with me. So I got it up piece by piece. I get them up there. Just ratchet them on here. the ratchet strap. And now I'm just trying to figure out where the crash bar need to be. The link for it. This one indicates basically a flipped up crash bar. And now let me put it down. And this is the crash bar down. So basically that's the arm, and at the bottom is a round pipe which stands out all the way, as wide as the truck is. Oh yeah, I have to drill holes here through the truck frame and weld this on around there and there on the subframe. Coming along. So I got the tight connection, the first tight connection installed. All 10 bolts are in. I had to drill some additional holes. I used mostly in 9 out of 10 I used existing holes. Like you see here, there's a lot of ones some I had to open them up, but this one is new, completely new. It's on the same height as these ones. Yeah, existing, there you can see these two there, existing. Yeah, so I had to grind this plate from the back side, kind of on a bevel, like a slope, you know, because of this welding bead, right? That was in the way. And other than that, it looks pretty good. That's the hole for the axle, you know, for the arm which holds the crash bar, the round one. Now I'm working on the crash bar basically. These are the arms. I cut them out and grinded them for the 4-inch pipe which gets attached to it. So today a quick update where I'm at. So as you can see, that's my subframe. Right now I'm cutting a bevel on these edges, you know, so I can weld on these attachments. Like, everything is super heavy steel. Look at this, you know. So these are my attachments going on there, welded on there. Attachments for the spare wheel carrier in the back. The arms are welded, all of them, on that side 4 and on that side 6. You know, these are supporting arms for the habitat. Right there, all same line, same height. So here in between will be the box for the outdoor kitchen, and then here a storage box, as I said, a real storage box, and here will be a storage box for that tilt hydraulic pump. And here in between is the entrance, the lowered entrance. What is left to do basically, it's easier to explain. They get welded on here, those brackets, and then I have to do counter brackets, like L angles with a hole in it, where then the rod is going through this hole. Rod with the springs above and below. So, sorry for the mess, but I'm working here. So for the spring assembly, as we know, these are the brackets that go onto the frame. And then there above is the other one, the weld-on bracket, so basically counterpart like that, but the weld-on bracket, which you can see on the frame. And there is a spring below. Actually, that one, 130 millimeter, is below. And then there's a shorter one above, on top of the weld-on bracket. Then there's a rod going through. And on top of the rod is basically that disc, you know, and then the rod goes through here, and then a nut on it, so that we can basically adjust the tension. So there's a nut at the top and at the bottom on the rod. So, and then if we tighten the nuts, you know, then we basically compress the spring here. And then also we limitate the movement of the frame by that. You know, so we can adjust basically how far the frame can lift out of his original position or not, right? So what I'm doing right now here is the brackets. The brackets is a different thing. What I'm doing right now is I'm creating. I mean, my first intention was using washers, but the washers are pretty thin, so that's why I cut with the bandsaw basically 1/4-inch discs off a rod, a solid rod, you know, 2-inch rod, and then I drill holes through it in the center. And I also have these tiny pipes, you know, like let me show you. They look pretty deformed because they're so thin walled. When you cut them on the bandsaw, the bandsaw is so powerful, it basically deforms the round pipe because it's just 1 inch in length, right? So you can see here, that's pretty deformed, right? Instead of being round, not even this is really fully round, but this is pretty oval, right? So I need to form them back, and then I weld this on there. Weld it here, grind it nicely. They're welded on there, and I clean them up with the grinder, and then they look like this. It's pretty okay. And then I have basically a end cap for my spring. Where did I put my spring? Oh, here, it's right in front of me. So the end cap, it goes over the spring, you know, and I have a nice finish basically. Not the thing is this rod can move in the spring. The rod is only 1/2 inch. Let's say this is 1/2 inch here. You know, go through there. So you see, sorry. So this is 1/2 inch rod. This could move this way and this way. You see here? Could move. So, but if I weld this on, then the spring can't go anywhere. So, here is how the crash bar works. I have these 2 levers here. You know, I have to lift them up, and then basically this is the position which I have when I drive on the road. You know, if some vehicle doesn't make it and then they crash right into that, that's the height of the bumper roughly. You know, not yet, but when all the weight is on it, the habitat, then it will come down a little further. So yeah, and if I go off-roading, then I flip that bar up, right? So therefore, I undo these things again, and then flip them up, and then I can go off-road. So the departure angle basically, you know, is higher now. Yeah, that's what it is for. Back on the street. Now this is my attachment for, it's on the very end, on the very far end basically from the long run. You know, it's my attachment for the drop down mechanism for the spare wheel. Here will be the spare wheel, right? So that's a cover plate. Here is basically the position where the lights, the rear lights going. There and there. You know, I showed already the crash bar, how that works. You know, that's a serious bolt in there. But what I just did yesterday, finished, is basically those brackets. And boy oh boy, that was a challenge, you know, to find some room, especially on the other side. Let me show you. To find some room, you know, logistic wise on the frame to get these springs in there. So I mean, here's no problem. I have plenty of space here, can find something, it's not a problem. But here it gets kind of tricky. You know, look how busy that is. Since there's no room, there's the arm, you know, here are the air tanks, then the arm again. There, it's too tight here. You know, I can't put a spring through. I have to beef then the air tanks off the frame. I don't want to do that, so I place them here. You know, so close to the guide. This is the guide which will basically take care of the frame, and the frame, this one lifts, you know, and it comes back. This guide basically brings him back in his position, so that the frame is not shifting sideways, you know. So he's taking care of that. That's all loose because I will deassemble everything and send it into the fire galvanizer. So here again, here's the arm, there's the pipe, you know, and I finally found some room here. So I have each side, you know, 4 of these spring attachments. Yeah, let me go over there on the other side because I made a mock-up, basically. A mock-up for these springs, the way they will look like. So here is one. Right, I got a 100mm spring at the top, and then I got a 40mm gap in between. You can see here it's lifted already, the frame a little, you know, because, yeah, look, I didn't even realize that, but yeah, here's the frame, it's almost a half an inch up there from that, because my property is probably falling this way a little bit. I know that this frame is welded through, you know, like bang on level. So yeah, anyway, so back to the spring, 100mm spring here and the caps, you know, and then a 140mm spring down here, you know, and a disc which holds them in place, and then self-locking nuts, a rod in between, half an inch rod, you know, and that 4 times. So I just cut a 3-inch thread on the bottom here and a 1-inch thread at the top, and man, that was kind of tough. So anyway, so the frame is done. In the new year, I will send this frame in to the fire galvanizing place, and then when I have it back, I will permanently install them on the frame. In between, I will paint the car frame, and if I have that done, then I can install that storage box, which I have to make as well, you know, and can then take care of all the hydraulic lines for the tilt pump. Yeah, so that took me a long time to get this together, you know. Everything is a custom kind of thing, you know, cut and welded. These holes here I have to add some holes before I send them into the fire galvanizer, but these holes are only to release the acids if the frame goes into an acid bath, and also the zinc. And I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for all the subscribers that lately subscribed. We have, or I have reached now the 100 subscribers. Makes me really happy. Motivates for keep going, basically. I mean, I will keep going building this truck, but taking on the extra work, you know, like to set it up at YouTube. I mean, it's extra work and takes time. But yeah, if there's an appreciation like that for with a subscription, that motivates, and I will continue doing that, you know. Lately I had a few people asking me if I could make a video, which I said in the 2nd or 3rd video I ever made, you know, that I'm talking about importing a truck or finding a truck. So yes, this will come, you know. I will try to do that also between Christmas and New Year, and yeah, just wait for it. Okay, but thank you for the subscriptions. You know, if you like what you see here, please consider subscribing. It would make me really happy and motivate me. Thank you.